One of the hottest teams as we enter the summer break is Alpine. The announcement of Alonso joining Aston Martin after everybody thought he'd commit to 2024 in Alpine has shocked the world. In the following days, everybody expected that Alpine will make the announcement of Oscar Piastri, their reserve driver and F2 champion from last season, to replace the two-time world champion from 2023 and sit next to Esteban Ocon. And indeed, Alpine announced the acquisition of Piastri, but nobody expected that the 21-year-old Aussie will publicly deny any of Alpine's allegations on his signing. So what is happening with Alpine? Before we dive deep into Piastri's denial of Alpine's announcement, let's explain something about how these problems came in the first place, which is with Alonso's announcement that he'll leave the team. Many wondered why the Spaniard did this move, but if you're following F1 news closely, this deal shouldn't surprise you that much. Alonso said multiple times in interviews and briefings that it will take him no more than 10 minutes to negotiate a deal with Alpine if they are ready to commit to the relationship with him. Alpine has failed Alonso multiple times this season with the reliability of their car, as we remember how he dropped from P2 to P9 in Montreal and how he went from P6 in the qualifying of the sprint race in Austria to not even starting the sprint and start dead last on Sunday. Even with that start, he managed to pick up some points, so it's absolutely brutal how he manages to outperform that car at 41 years of age. Plus, it's a business, and teams do not notify drivers prematurely when they want to leave parts with them. Alonso has likely agreed to a much lower salary than the $20 million he was receiving in Alpine, and the last race in Hungary just went to show that Alonso's relationship with Ocon isn't a shiny one. The Frenchman is very aggressive in their duels, although he is much slower at some points, and we remember how Alonso defended Hamilton when Ocon was leading the Hungarian GP last year. So Alonso's decision shouldn't come as that big of a surprise to F1 fans, as at the end of the day, this is a business, and you go where you see fit the most. Many believe that Alpine has waited too long to start the negotiation process with Alonso, as it seems like they didn't even have a chance to offer him a deal for the upcoming season. This may have told Alonso that the team isn't very eager to continue the collaboration and would willingly replace him with a younger driver, most likely Piastri. But after the announcement that the 21-year-old F2 champion will drive for them, Oscar Piastri has gone public and said, "I understand that without my agreement, Alpine F1 has put out a press release late this afternoon that I'm driving for them next year. This is wrong and I have not signed a contract with Alpine for 2023. I'll not be driving for Alpine next year," said Piastri on Twitter. What's even more concerning for the French team is that Piastri is likely going to another team for the 2023 season, as that could be the only logical reason why he would deny a seat in Alpine. Before these events unwound as they did, Piastri was linked to Williams replacing Nicolas Latifi as a part of Williams receiving the Renault engines from the next season. Now, this is unlikely to happen, as Piastri is now heavily linked to replace Daniel Ricciardo in McLaren for the next season. According to Paul Di Resta from Sky Sports, the only reason why Piastri turned down the seat in Alpine is that he has secured a spot somewhere else for the next season, as we should expect that announcement very soon. Yeah, it is very odd. I think the whole paddock was caught by surprise yesterday going into the summer break when the silly season starts with driver contracts. Fernando going to Aston, I hadn't heard it anywhere. I don't believe my colleagues had either, and it also caught Otmar Safnauer by surprise. That has led on to what has happened obviously with Piastri, who has been an Alpine junior. They have been lobbying him, saying how good he is and where the seat is going to come up, and even trying to place him within the Formula 1 paddock because he is an asset to them in the future. Now, that statement that he has put out, I find it very surprising that he's rejecting a team that is in the top 4 and a great upward trajectory that you wouldn't want to drive for them. That can only mean that he's got another seat secured somewhere else. Where is he going to be driving? Is it McLaren? Is it Williams? Where does that leave Daniel Ricciardo? I'm very unsure where that is going to happen. He has obviously taken that decision thinking Alonso was staying, and it did feel like he was part of the furniture and it was going to be the obvious thing that he continued to go on. Finished Di Resta. The fact that Alpine found out from the press that Alonso is leaving the team speaks volumes about the miscommunication that's going on in this team, adding to Di Resta's statement that Piastri assumed he'll remain seatless until 2024 if he doesn't take the matters in his own hands. Where will the youngster drive in the next season? It's up to us to wait and see.